Hi, I'm Paulie Zink, the creator of Yin Yoga, and I've been teaching yoga for about 50 years.
Why did you create Yin Yoga?
Well, I started yoga at 14 doing Hatha yoga, which I loved. And then when I got a little older, I went to college. And while I was in college, I met a Chinese master who started showing me movements and Qigong and different things as a foundation. He wanted to teach me martial arts. And so he showed me 1 or 2 postures of an animal periodically to work on for flexibility and to develop that energy flow. And it was great, so I started doing that, and I loved it. It felt very limiting to me, though, because it was very traditional, and it had to be done one way, and that's why I started to look at other animals and start to develop that feeling from them. I wanted to really be able to flow like an animal flows, and so I started to do all that on my own and work on that.
So he was primarily teaching you how to develop an awareness of the monkey spirit.
Yes, a monkey spirit awareness was one of the primary. In addition, I would learn like frog, lizard, toad, those kind of things that were a foundation based on Qigong to help you get better energy flow and better flexibility. It came back to the ancient times. He learned from the lineage of shamans that came from the caves in China. So part of his art comes from that type of healing too. It all trickled down to the martial arts people to use for their ability to become flexible and direct their energy and flow.
So you developed many more postures and variations of postures on your own.
Yes, so when I was learning everything, to me it was very limited in the sense that he would show me one posture of a frog, say, and then another posture maybe of a lizard or a crocodile or something like that. So I'd learn 1 or 2 things, but as far as being able to get a lot out of that and flow with it really well was difficult. It gives you that energetics, like the deer energy to help heal kidneys and things like that. They use that in Qigong a lot, so he taught me all of those things. And it's wonderful, but it's very limiting if you learn one animal and doing 1 or 2 moves. So for every one I learned, I would create my own from that by feeling just like a deer. I would do like, say, 10, 15, 20 movements of that one animal. And I did that with everything, like bugs, beetles, insects. Then the same thing applies when you're learning the 5 energies of the art. You also will want to feel like a tree or a river flowing. And so it's all based on becoming what you're feeling. It's like whatever you're feeling in the elements, you bring that into yourself, and then with that you will actually feel like a tree when you're there. The reason I really created and love Yin Yoga one of the most important things to me was that it was so much fun to do. When you're doing animals based on the dinosaurs, the seahorses, frogs, beetles, toads, all this stuff is so much fun. It's actually just like bringing you back to when you were a child again, playing with all these things. Because when I was a young boy, I was a Cub Scout. And then after that, I went into the Boy Scouts. And in the Boy Scouts, I would walk around hiking all the time and pick up frogs, turtles, lizards, and take them home and have them as pets. So I'd always play with them all the time naturally. And that alone was so much fun that's why when I do the yoga, I want to do those postures based on all the animals and elements that I've had around me as a child. You're only as old as your mind will let you feel old. When you get older, you should always feel like you did as a child still. That's why my classes, they say it's so much fun. They always say my classes are a lot of fun because we're doing all kinds of animal flows with the yoga postures. So like when we're doing downward dogs, I'm still teaching people downward, upward dog, but it's not done the way I did it in Hatha yoga. It's done the way I learned it from me being around dogs and moving with dogs.
So your way of practicing and teaching yin yoga is a lot more playful.
A lot more playful. So there's a lot of laughter in my classes. So my yin yoga classes, in the beginning days, the very early days when I was teaching students, the classes were very quiet and very serious because people were holding postures for 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes, and they were sweating profusely, and they were just struggling just to do the most simple posture, which everybody in yoga today does a posture like this, but I've had people that were sitting there like this, struggling and straining and sweating. So my classes were quiet. But myself, when I practiced, was laughter and fun. So then later, as my students got better and better and better, they were able to do the more advanced form. And that is taking yourself out of your serious self and really having fun with it. So when I say let's do the frog, I say let's play and do like a frog like this and move around. Like cross-legged frog is this one here. But it's meant to have fun with and be happy with. For beginning students, they may be sitting like this, sweating and feeling discomfort. But when you get advanced, what you want to do is just go back and play with it, have a lot of fun. So I encourage my classes to laugh and have a lot of fun while we're doing it.
Did you ever use timers in your classes?
No, I never used timers. Today they do that, but I would estimate. The way I would teach would be I'd put people in postures and they'd be uncomfortable. Let's say somebody's really tight and they're sitting there with their knees like this. And I'm having them sit there and push one down. And they're sweating and they're shaking and stuff. I kind of just watch my whole class. And I judge about how many minutes they can last. And then I get them out of it and go to the next posture so they have some relief there. So roughly 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Now some students, I've had students that can last 3 or 4 seconds in a posture. When that happens, I just say come out of it and move around. Okay, now we're going to go back to it. So we'll do repetition, repetition, repetition. That may go on for a long time, but then eventually a class will be of everybody who can just sit there for 5 minutes like this, say. And then that's okay too, but I just estimate the time. There's no timer. So I don't really use it. It doesn't hurt to have timers being used in a class like today. I don't really teach with timers though, because I want to be separated from the mechanical method. So when you're timing everything, it makes you also become more mechanical. Less robotics is what I want. So I want you to be very natural. And that's why I say when you're doing a posture the same as I'm doing it, you're doing it wrong. Because I want you to fit into a posture with your own artistic self-expression of that posture. So when you become what you're doing, it's going to look different than everyone else around you. And that's what I want to see, everyone a little bit different there. In beginning stages, you won't see that. You'll see everybody doing the same thing like this angle. But in my form of yoga, there is no angles that are correct or incorrect. And I never walk around with a protractor to students and measure everything. It's always based on, I want to see you do it your way. The only exception is if I see somebody that's going to hurt themselves, I'll say that's the wrong way to do that. So that's the slight, just rarely, very rarely, I see that.
What do you find is missing in the popularized version of Yin Yoga?
The essence of the Yin Yoga is missing, the actual essence. And what that is it's the transitions that you don't see normally. The transitions are the unseen, and that's what allows you to move from posture to posture with a flow. So the missing part is the flow, the Qigong work, the breathing work that goes with it. The 5 elements, that's another thing missing. Several things are missing that would make it a complete art where you wouldn't have to go to any other form of yoga to really develop everything. So total body is what I've always taught with Yin Yoga. Now, a lot of people today are saying it's just a supplement for whatever else you're doing in yoga, which works the lower bodies, hips, ankles, knees, that sort of thing. But my original art form is to teach you to do everything: back, neck, shoulders, upper body, lower body. It's based on breathing, the elements, and the animals. Okay? Ready?
Mm-hmm.
That's good enough. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover, please mention it in the comments.
Thank you for watching my video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more, please like,
subscribe,
and click the notification bell.
It's not like subscribe.
Okay.
Subscribe.
Okay. If you know anybody that would enjoy this video, please share.
Really?
It's good. It's coming good. We'll repeat it again.